Hi there, welcome to the class, and I hope you will enjoy it. Well, in our today's lesson, we are going to talk about job interview. But first, what is a job interview? A job interview is an interview consisting of a conversation between a job applicant and a representative of an employer, which is conducted to assess whether the applicant should be hired. As you all know, you are in the final year of your senior high school, and 3-4 years after your graduation, or 5 years after your graduation, you will be looking for job. So it is very important for you to take note from these lessons so that when the time comes, you won't be nervous when you're looking for a job. Now, before we go into the lesson in details, please be attentive and take a look at this role play.
Okay, you can do this. You've prepared, you're qualified, you're right for the job. Don't be nervous. If you don't do well, what's the worst that could happen? They reject you. Big deal. Take a deep breath and go.
Please have a seat. You must be Lydia, right? Thank you for having me today. Nice to meet you.
You too. Glad to have you here. How are you today? And I hope I didn't make you wait for too long.
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Well, Isna, I was looking through your CV and I got to say your experience is very interesting. I want to hear more about it today.
Alright, so whenever I go on a job interview, I always try to treat it as a conversation instead of an interview because that makes me a lot less nervous, So this lady right here wants to know about my career and I want to know about her company. That's it. It's a conversation and that actually does the trick.
Okay, well, first, I would like to thank you for allowing me to come to this interview. I am very happy to be here.
Alright, excellent. Let us dig in, shall we? So tell me more about yourself.
So here's a tip. Whenever you're asked this question, we want to know about your professional background in a nutshell because we don't have a lot of time to waste. So make sure that you tell us about your qualifications, your experiences that are relevant for the job. We don't want to know the name of your mother or what you had for lunch or your zodiac sign. So also make sure that you do not recite the things that was already written on your CV because hello, we could read. So make sure you elaborate on what's written on the CV.
So far, in the past 2 years, I've been working as a marketing assistant at company Bye Bye Meat, which is a company that sells meat alternative to consumer. And I also create promotional material, which is something that I love to do because that involves a lot of creative work. And talking about my career, I started my career as a communication intern at company KBS, and later I was promoted to be marketing associate after just 4 months of working there. And recently, I have been enrolling myself in various courses in digital marketing, which led me to find this job opening here at your company.
Well, that is great. So Isna, why this job? Why not others' job?
Here, employers want to know about your intentions and your career goals. You may think that answering this question with, oh, I'm desperate and I need money, might sound hilarious, funny, smart, and honest, but never ever reply this question with that answer unless you want to blow that interview. So here, employers usually prefer to hire a candidate who has a clear idea of the career path they want to get into. So make sure you answer with confidence about the field that you want to get into, and let's see what she has.
Why this job? I think to challenge myself. I need something challenging in my life, and as I told you before, I've been taking a lot of courses in digital marketing, and I think that would be very interesting to apply. And I found the job description to be very interesting because it matched my current skill where I can contribute. And I also think that the products and services that your company offers are very differentiated. So I think that would be exciting for me to be a part of your company's growth.
Here, employers want to see if you are the right fit for the job. So make sure you match your qualifications to what they are looking for in the job descriptions. So here, the key is to know the pain points of the company and how you could solve that. So make sure that you don't make it all about you, but also about the company as well. For me, candidates that stand out the most are those candidates that bring up something about my company instead of the candidates that are only saying that they are eager to learn, they're hard workers, etc. Those things are good qualities, but make sure you relate these qualities to what we are looking for, the employers.
Okay. And why do you think I should choose you over others candidates?
Job interview is just like going on a first date with a man. It's like you need to stroke their ego so that they feel good about themselves, and that would make them like you better. So this is how I do it. I stroke their ego by telling them that they're better than their competitors, they have an amazing product and services, and that usually works.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know how the other candidates are. However, I do think that your company's online presence could use a little push, and in my current skill or in my current role, I am responsible for writing for various media and blog, so that is something that I could help you with.
Hey.
Okay, we will inform you later about it. So thank you for coming today and have a nice day.
To the content, and let's cover those 10 job interview tips. Job interview tip number 1 is to make sure you dress to impress for your job interview. Now, first impressions are absolutely crucial in making sure you pass your job interview. And if you dress smart, it shows the interviewer that you care. And if you dress smart, it shows the interviewer that you have high standards. If you don't make an effort in how you dress for your job interview, then you are unlikely to pass. Now, you don't need to go out and spend a lot of money on an expensive suit. Just make sure you dress to impress and show the interviewer that you really care and you really want this job. Job interview tip number 2 is to make sure you research the company you are applying to work for. Now, the main reason why people often fail their job interviews is because they fail to carry out sufficient research into the company. And all that serves to do is tell the interviewer that you are only interested in getting a job and you're not particularly bothered about their organization. So you should go on their website, have a look at their About Us page. What do they do? Have a look at the products and services they offer. You should also take a look at the online customer reviews. What do the positive reviews say about their company? And also have a look at their social media platforms. What are their latest news stories? What have they been up to? So when the interviewer says to you, "Why do you want to work for us?" you can talk about all the good things that are going on with their organization. Job interview tip number 3. This is a really simple one, but it is often overlooked by job applicants, and that's to make sure that you arrive on time to the interview venue. Now, I would personally arrive at the interview venue 20 minutes before the start of my interview because I want to create a positive first impression. I want to show the interviewer that I am organized and I am prepared. Because if you turn up just on time, or if you are slightly late for your interview, it does not give a good impression. Now, when you get to the interview venue, make sure you are nice to the reception staff. Sit in the waiting area and read your resume or the job description. Because if you turn up with plenty of time to spare, you can compose yourself and you can also overcome interview nerves. So job interview tip number 3 is to always make sure you arrive with plenty of time to spare for your job interview. Job interview tip number 4 is to make sure that you have an answer already prepared for the interview question, "Tell me about yourself." Now, if you can answer the first interview question, which is going to be, tell me about yourself, then this sets you up with confidence for the rest of the interview. So my advice is to make sure you have an answer already prepared. Now, a great way to structure your answer to the interview question is to use the format SEAT, S-E-A-T. This is something I devised to help people like you to get your interview off to a flying start. So S stands for the skills and qualities you have. E stands for the experience or the educational qualifications you possess. A stands for any significant achievements you have gained in your life so far. And finally, T is to finish off and tell the interviewer the type of person you are. So let me now give you an example answer using the SEAT format to the interview question, tell me about yourself. Thank you for inviting me to be interviewed for this position today. Now, before I applied, I studied the job description and I am confident I have the skills and qualifications needed to succeed. I am a fast learner, a self-starter, a very good team worker, and I can be relied upon to finish tasks quickly and to a standard that is representative of your company brand. Now, in previous roles, I had a track record of achievement. For example, in my last job, I worked alongside a team of people to successfully launch a new company product. Now, we achieved our goal by working together, by focusing on each other's strengths, by advertising on relevant platforms, and by delivering outstanding customer service every step of the way. I am the type of person who will always act as a positive role model for your company. I will manage a large workload successfully, and I will always embrace change positively so your company always stays ahead of its competitors. So that's a really good example answer that you can use for the interview question, tell me about yourself. Now, job interview tip number 5 is really, really important. And I believe this is the difference between those candidates who pass their interview and those who don't. And that is to try and give evidence of where your skills and qualities are a match for the job description. So before you attend your interview, it's really important that you do read the job description carefully. Have a look at the skills and qualities that are needed to carry out the job to a high standard, and then have examples ready, evidence of where you have previously successfully completed tasks that are a match for the job description. Now, job interview tip number 6 is designed to put you ahead of the competition. And that's to have at least one significant achievement to talk about during your job interview. So if you can prove to the interviewer that you are a high achiever, you are more likely to get hired. So my advice is to think of at least one significant achievement you have gained either in your personal life or preferably during a previous job role, and then talk about it during the interview. Now, example of significant achievements include working on challenging projects that helped your employer to increase sales, winning an important contract, a sales contract for your employer, covering other people's work because they might have been off sick or on annual leave, responding to difficult challenges within an organization. Perhaps you have invented something, or you've come up with an idea to save the company money. You may have carried out some charity work, or you may have completed a really difficult sporting event. So those are just a few examples of significant achievements you could talk about in your job interview. Job interview tip number 7 is to make sure you think about your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, during the interview, the interviewer is guaranteed to say to you, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? So we need to make sure you prepare a rock solid answer to this question. Now, good strengths to give in a job interview include being able to manage a large workload, having the technical skills or the qualifications needed to do the job to a high standard, being a self-starter, somebody who needs little supervision or monitoring, being commercially aware. Now, that means you are somebody who understands that you need to perform your duties to a high standard to help their business continually grow and improve. Other strengths include being adaptable to change. That's a really good one. Or also saying that your strength is taking responsibility for your own professional development. So those are really good strengths to give in a job interview. But what about weaknesses? Now, we need to be really careful when we give weaknesses during a job interview. So you could say that your weakness is you find it hard to say no to people. You could say that you are not very confident when talking to large groups of people, or you could say that you find it hard to let go of projects. But when you do give a weakness, make sure you tell the interviewer what you are doing to improve. Job interview tip number 8 is to make sure you use the STAR technique when answering difficult behavioral interview questions. Now, during the interview, the interviewer is going to assess how you have previously performed in given situations. So examples of behavioral interview questions could include, tell me about a time when you worked as part of a team, tell me about a time when you worked under pressure, or describe a situation where you experienced conflict with a co-worker. Now, when you answer any type of behavioral interview question, make sure you structure it by using the STAR technique. Now, STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So you start off and give an answer by talking about the situation you were in. So briefly outline the situation. Then move on to the task. So explain the task that needed to be done. Then go into detail about the action that you took and the action other people took. So tell the interviewer in detail what action and what steps you took. And finally, finish off with the result following your actions. And it's really important that you always make sure the result is a positive one. So tip number 8 is to make sure you utilize the STAR technique when responding to difficult behavioral interview questions. Job interview tip number 9 is to make sure you learn how to manage interview nerves. Now, understandably, people get nervous prior to their job interview, but the nerves can get so bad that they hinder their ability to perform to a good standard, and they end up failing their interview as a result. Now, if you want to learn how to manage interview nerves, make sure you click that link right now at the top of the video. It takes you through to another video right here on YouTube where I teach you how to boost your confidence during your interview and overcome those interview nerves. So make sure you check that out right now. And job interview tip number 10 is to make sure that you have 3 smart questions ready to ask at the end of your job interview. So at the end of the interview, when they say to you, that's the end of your interview, do you have any questions for us? Don't say, no, I don't have any questions. You've answered everything during the interview. That's not the thing to say. Instead, you should say, yes, I just have 3 questions I would like to ask, please. So 3 examples of really good questions include, what are the challenges facing the company right now, and how could I help you to overcome them? Another really smart question to ask is, what training would I undergo in the role if I am successful? And question number 3 is to say, what would you need me to focus on within the first 30 days of starting in the role? So those are 3 really good questions you can ask at the end of your interview to impress the interviewer. So there's 10 brilliant job interview tips that are guaranteed to put you ahead of the competition. Now, if you would like to accelerate your learning even further and you want to learn how to answer all of the possible interview questions that could come your way, make sure you click that link right now in the top right-hand corner of the video. Head through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can download my top 30 interview questions and brilliant answers in a PDF guide. And you can literally have that resource within 2 minutes from now, and it's guaranteed to put you ahead of the competition and ultimately help you to pass your interview. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right now. As I said at the start, I'm on a mission to help you to pass.
Thank you so much.
This video and audio is about the job interview. And this audio or video is approximately 15 minutes long. And this video and audio are directed toward the 12th grades of senior high school students. And then, how about we will use this audio to teach is something like this. First step is we're going to brainstorm about what is job interview. And then we will play the audio and video for the students to compare between what they have discussed and the content of the video and audio. And third, we might want to have them share their opinions towards the others group in some kind of presentation. And lastly, I will probably tell to them about some tips towards job interview. First is to always treat job interview as conversation, because it will lessen your nervousness. And then I will also tell them to answer the interview with confidence. And then I will also tell them to match their qualification with the job description. And then to make sure that the interview is not about yourself, but also the company as well. Thank you.